Is the camera crooked or am I? Maybe both. Hey guys, I'm Carlin and thank you for watching this video. I have some things to share. It has been 20 years since my spinal fusion surgery, and that kind of blows my mind because where I am now is not where I ever imagined myself to be. And that is pain-free. Pretty balanced mind-body connection. I've healed my gut, which didn't know that was off until it got better, and so much more. Before I dive in, I want to cover some of the basics. So when I talk about scoliosis, I am talking about idiopathic scoliosis. That is what I was diagnosed with as a teenager. So it's the kind that, unknown cause, which as a diagnosis isn't helpful because even though it's unknown, that's not actionable. So what I've learned is how to approach this multifactorial condition with a multifaceted approach. I think it responds best to that. And really, we have so many options available to us. And I want to share some of that with you because the more that I learned about them, the more I better understood the condition and how to work with it and learn my own body and become an expert on me. So scoliosis, we know, is a side-to-side curve, typically in the shape of an S, that's mine, and some have in the shape of a C. While there is a side-to-side curve, there's oftentimes a compensating rotation. So my rotation, and I'm going to show you a video clip here, my rotation before I derotated was my left rib cage moved forward while my right moved a little bit back, and then my right hip would was a little forward while my left hip rotated back. And what's interesting about that and kind of fun to play around with was when I learned this, then I could evaluate my my own scoliosis at home, and that was empowering. Wait tonight, better off. I'm gonna find my way tonight. Wait tonight. Won't you talk to me? I wanna heal your sorrows. Won't you just come to me? We'll make a new tomorrow. Won't you talk to me? One night to find the answer. Won't you talk to me? What makes this heart beat faster? To kind of take a step back, when I was, in my mid to late 20s, I learned about yoga for scoliosis while I was living in Chicago. And I met this woman, DL, and meeting her changed how I managed my condition completely. We had a one-on-one session where she took some pictures and she had me, she took the pictures for me so that I could track at home and take pictures as regularly as I wanted, but then I could compare and see how my body was changing and moving. So we took pictures of me standing up and then also me bending over, and she's the one who taught me about the rotation. I didn't even realize that was another thing that my body was doing. And let me tell you, it is absolutely magnificent. And I can't even be mad about having this condition. There was time, and there are phases where you go through fear and you're freaked out, and I mean, why wouldn't you be? We see these x-rays, first of all, which I think is very bizarre. I don't think it's natural for us to look at and see the inside of our body. That is just so foreign. But yeah, so as a teenager, I'm seeing these things, totally freaked out. They tell me they don't know why this is happening. We try bracing and my curves kept progressing. And then I had the surgery, which was successful, very successful. I was fused from L1 to L4. And one thing that I take as a huge compliment is whenever I see like a chiropractor or anyone who understands that condition, they always say that they're surprised at how much mobility I have. So I'm like, that's cool. I'll take that. What I appreciated about working with DL and learning how to evaluate my condition from the outside is I don't have to depend on x-rays to know where my body is and how it's changing. I am only fused on the lower curve, the lumbar curve, so my thoracic curve is not fused. And I'm really glad that I'm not fused all the way, because I like to know what my body is communicating, and I want to know how to listen to it. And I've had the opportunity to learn that partially because of the part of my spine that is not fused. So there were times when I could kind of tell like things were moving, but I didn't really get like what my body was saying. I could just tell things were changing. Now, oh my goodness. And this is where I don't even know where to start. And it's so 20 years is a long time, but I'm going to do my best. And please stay tuned. I'm going to continue to post more of these videos so that I can start to get more of that information out. I can't get it all out in this one video because, like, seriously, it's just like it's too much. But this is a start. This is a starting point. So we talked about the side-to-side curve and the rotation. And I mentioned that I derotated my spine. And I did that using this Cassilia True Alignment System. She's a chiropractor, and she invented this. And it uses just the force of downward gravity to realign the body. It's really cool. They love people who have scoliosis. They call it's almost like a magic trick. And I was stunned. So that worked well for me. And a part of that working well is I feel like I set my body up to be accepting of change. When I say to be accepting of change, and I talk about a multifaceted approach to healing the condition, the research that's out there speaks to hormonal imbalances and nutritional either deficiencies or insufficiencies. And I use those two words because I don't want to make the assumption that if you have this condition that you have a deficiency. It may be the case, but I think the lab work should speak to that. But to me, what's particularly interesting is this concept of a nutritional insufficiency. And it's not so much that you are deficient to the point that it's causing like disease in the body, which I mean, but if you have scoliosis, like something is going on. But the body's going to find a way to work with what it's got. And in our bones, there are minerals, it stores minerals, and the body will extract what it needs and put it back and store. And it's doing a very, very intricate dance, okay? But when the hormones are out of balance, and this speaks more to like the thyroid, which is another word. I remember when I heard thyroid, I'm like, what's that? Turns out it's really important. And now I can listen and I know what my thyroid is saying to me. So it's very, very, very cool. The more you learn about your body and how it all works. So to get back to the hormones, the thyroid regulates a lot of things, and hormones hormone imbalance is something that just goes with scoliosis. I don't fully understand why an endocrinologist isn't brought in right away, because that was another new one for me. Endocrinologist, I just found out about that a couple years ago. They study hormones. And I'm like, wait, what? Please measure all of mine. I want to know where they all are. Turns out doctors do not like when you tell them what lab work to run. Oops, I do it anyway. And yeah, they'll run them, but I don't necessarily have specialists helping me to understand them. I remember the first time I asked to have my progesterone checked, I was told that it's a waste of time because it changes. And my thought is, that is more of a reason to test it, because I want to know how it's changing and how it's fluctuating. I'm going to get more into hormones in another video because I have a lot to say about those. But I will say what I have learned about them is getting them into balance and recognizing when they're out of balance is a night and day difference. Learning what your body needs and how to support it, and recognizing where it needs support, when it needs support, and what will best support it is what I have been learning over the past few years, and it has been a game changer. The way that I look at the body now is it's communicating all the time. It's constantly communicating. So my job has been to listen to what it's saying and give it the signals that will help it move in the direction that I want it to go. That comes through different forms. So the first is my diet, what I'm eating. The second is through movement, and my favorite is yoga. The third is environmental factors and realizing that what I put on my body is the same as what I put in my body. So soaps, laundry detergent, and I use, so to give my body additional support, essential oils, again, like giving my body some things that will give it support, clean support, and remove or eliminate things that are toxic and potentially irritating to my system. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.